Welcome. We were just in executive session. We already called the meeting to order, but for verbal attendance of board members starting furthest to my left, please state your name for the record.
Vasilios Supos.
Eva Gilio.
Scott Nelson.
Alex Kamalevich.
Julie Moon.
James Dolan.
Jessica Pritzker.
Okay, welcome. Now we're going to move to our approval section. I would like to ask for a motion and a second to approve the agenda.
So moved. Kamalevich.
Second, Gilio.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next, I'd like to ask for a motion and a second to approve the September 15th executive, regular, and public hearing minutes.
So moved. Dolan.
Second, Pritzker.
Gabby, may I have a roll call?
Moon,
Aye.
Kamalevich,
Aye.
Gilio,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Pritzker,
Aye.
Supos, Dolan.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we'll come to our superintendent comments.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I do have a few celebratory comments I'd like to make this evening. First, last week was Principal Appreciation Week, and we are very grateful to have a dedicated team of educators who support our students, families, and staff in all of our school buildings. Our principals lead with vision, compassion, and a deep commitment to every student's success. Each day they balance countless responsibilities, some of which, of course, include supporting teachers, engaging with families, creating a safe and welcoming environment for all, advocating for children, and bringing our strategic plan to life. And they actually have lives outside of work and families that they go home to. And so balancing all of those responsibilities is really pretty amazing. So to all of our principals, our assistant principals who lead our buildings, thank you very much for all of your hard work and for your caring. That's our theme this year, is as simple as it sounds, caring. And they display that every day. What's everyone looking at that I can't see?
Pictures of the principals.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
That's
Right
what
on
we're
cue.
smiling at.
Thank you, Becca. Next, you will recall the Those Who Excel Award. So it's that time again. The Illinois State Board of Education annually sponsors the Those Who Excel and the Teacher of the Year program to honor educators who have made significant contributions to our schools, and the following educators were nominated this year. Marie Chang Pisano, who's a Reading Math Intervention Associate at Glen Grove, was nominated in the Educational Service Personnel category. Megan Chen, Assistant Principal for Student Services at Springman, was nominated in the Administrator category. Danae Siski, a teacher at Atia, was nominated for ISBE's Teacher of the Year Award. And Chrissy Harold, Instructional Innovation Specialist at Atia, was nominated in the Student Support Personnel category. And we recently were able to surprise some of our staff members and congratulate them on their nomination in person. But we do have one more special announcement that we'd like to make, and that is that our school board president, Scott Nelson, has been nominated in the Community Volunteer category.
Thank you.
And Mr. Nelson, we thank you very much for your board leadership and for all that you've done in so many capacities for this community. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I don't know what you're going to do with those.
Yeah, take them home
How about a pic?
with my water bottle. I like the balloons.
I'll get short.
Thanks.
Nice backdrop for you. Next, and over the weekend, we had representatives from Glenview School District 34's multilingual team, led by Raquel Kim, our Assistant Superintendent for Multilingual Services, and members of the Mongolian BPAC were invited to all present at the Research Institute of Mongolia Conference at the Mongolian Embassy, Embassy in Washington, D.C. Maybe on cue, there are some pictures behind me for your viewing pleasure. Dr. Sarul Erdin, a Mongolian book expert and librarian at the Library of Congress, had specifically requested that District 34 share its journey in uplifting Mongolian multilingual learners, including the development and implementation of our after-school Mongolian language program, which fosters both home language maintenance and cultural identity. I am incredibly proud. We should all be incredibly proud of the recognition for our school district and for the administrative leaders, staff members, and parent community drivers for their hard work and dedication to our students and families. So we congratulate them all as well. And we got some great pics. They were hot off the press, right, just this morning. Finally, in recognition of Augmentative and Alternative Communication Awareness Month, also known as AAC, we would like to recognize how our district's work with AAC aligns with our strategic plan goals of belonging and well-being, creativity and innovation, and collaboration and community. AAC provides tools and strategies that allow individuals with complex communication needs to share their voices and fully participate in school life. We are proud to support over 80 AAC users across our school district. Thanks to the generous support of the Glenview Education Foundation, communication boards are now available on every school playground, helping all students communicate and connect through shared language. Through our core vocabulary initiative, staff, students, and families learn and model one focus word each month, both in classrooms and at home. The more we all model AAC, the more we foster a culture of inclusion, creativity, and connection where every voice is heard. Think about the power of a communicative system like that, particularly on a playground, and the power in that. So we just wanted to call that out in recognition of AAC Awareness Month. Those are my comments this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Deli. Now we're at our audience comments. This is the first opportunity for audience comments. Anyone wishing to address the board can submit a comment card available at the check-in table and give it to the Executive Director of Communications and Strategic Planning. The Executive Director will call community members who submit cards forward. They will be asked to introduce themselves and describe their relationship to the district. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and know that the board will be taking notes and will be in listening mode only, and an appropriate response will be given in a timely manner. We ask that you submit one comment per opportunity. Rebecca, do we have any comments?
We have one from Mr. Tarkowski.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for tonight. My name is Michael Tarkowski. I am a District 34 parent. I have a 6th grader at Springman. And it is wonderful to hear many of the accomplishments. Unfortunately, I'm here to kind of burst that bubble a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a textbook. This is not. I have a 6th grader who, there are no textbooks at Springman. And I don't know about Atia. And my wife and I are completely embarrassed. We are shocked. Where I believe that we're depriving our children of the ability to have their assignments simply, you go to chapter 1, you read it, you get the pleasure of opening your own book. You get to, when I was a kid, back in 1975, 76, we got to actually use paper, and you could cover your books, you could decorate them however you wanted, and you could understand what your assignments were. And I believe that the district also needs to kind of reinforce to teachers what a syllabus is. A syllabus is basically a clear roadmap for students and for parents to understand what they're covering week in, week out. I have no clue what my son is supposed to have done, what he's doing. I've seen missed assignments, and I'll reach out to the teacher. Oh, it's a technical error or missed assignments, and I'll reach out. Oh, that was done in class. Then I ask them, well, how can that be a missed assignment? But I do, again, feel that we are shortchanging our students from not providing them with textbooks if they request them. Every single teacher looked at me like I was speaking Greek when I asked for a textbook for my student, and especially because we're dealing with a generation right now that is dealing with screen addiction. And I completely understand that we're in a new generation of students and how they are going to use technology, but I'm dealing with a spectrum son who is already dealing with screen addiction at home, and there's no way for people of my generation, and many of you of the same generation, to figure out how to navigate this StudySync or whatever else they're using to figure out our assignments completed. When do they have quizzes? When do they have tests? That would be very simply to have a simple syllabus that says, week 1, we're doing chapter 1. Week 2, we're doing chapter 2. Week 3, we're doing chapter 3. Week 4, we're going to do a quiz or / test on chapter 1 through 3. Easy enough. Or the assignment comes home. He does it. I know what's going on. I know what he needs to do. I can say to him, you know what? You need to do this first before you can do FaceTime or Fortnite or Roblox or whatever. But the way the system is now, I have no clue what assignments need to be done. It is very difficult for me to speak to my teachers, my son's teachers about it because they want him to take ownership. Unfortunately, because of his spectrum
Sorry to
issue.
interrupt. You're over 3 minutes.
Okay.
I'll just ask you
Thank
to
you.
wrap up your thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will have another opportunity for comment
Fine.
later.
Thank you.
Next, we go to our consideration of resolutions. We have the 25066 personnel report, the 25067 payroll warrants, the 25068 vendor warrants, and the 25069 renewal of facility use contract with Youth Services for on-site counseling. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Second, Dolan.
Gabby, may I have a roll call?
Kemalevich.
Aye.
Gilio.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Pritzker.
Aye.
Supos. Dolan.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we'll go to our consideration of other resolutions, discussion and action. We have the 25070 resignation agreement. Is there a motion or any discussion? May I ask for a motion and a second to approve the resignation agreement for Eric Miller as presented in executive session?
So moved, Kamalevich.
Second, Pritzker.
Gabby, may I have a roll call?
Gilio.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Pritzker.
Aye.
Supos. Dolan.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Kemalevich.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we have the 25071, approve the contract for our interim CSBO. Dr. Deli, do you want to
I do have a
talk
couple
about
comments,
this?
thank you. As the board is aware, we have a need for a temporary administrative leadership for our Business Services Department. And I'm very pleased to share that Dr. Michael Zellick, who is here with us at the table this evening, has agreed to serve as interim assistant superintendent for business services on a temporary basis not to exceed 120 days. As a retired chief school business official, TRS limits his work days. But Mike and I will work together very carefully to see that his time is very well spent with us in the most efficient and impactful manner as possible. Dr. Zellick is a veteran and well-respected school business official with over 25 years of experience. Just before retiring, Mike was with Grays Lake High School District for 17 years and has most recently served on an interim basis in Marquardt District 15 and just before that in Aptekissick Trip School District 102. So I confidently recommend to the board the approval of Dr. Zellick's interim contract to the board.
Any other questions or discussion? If not, I'd like to ask for a motion and a second to approve the contract for interim CSBO as presented.
So moved, Gilio.
Second, Dolan.
Gabby, may I have a roll call?
Pritzker.
Aye.
Supos. Dolan.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Kemalevich.
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Gilio.
Aye.
Motion carries. Welcome aboard. I would also like to now designate interim CSBO as treasurer. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution to appoint Mike Zelik as the treasurer of District 34?
So moved, Pritzker.
Gabby, may I have a roll call vote?
Supos. Dolan,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Kemilevich,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Gilio,
Aye.
Pritzker.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now you're the treasurer. Yep. Now we have now we get to have your presentations. We have the 25073 resolution directing a transfer of funds from working cash fund to the operations and maintenance fund in anticipation of the collection of taxes levied by the district for such purposes for the year 2024, and such monies so transferred to be reimbursed from such taxes upon their collection. Dr. Zelik?
So you've got actually two resolutions that you'll be, we're asking for you to approve. The resolution for the working cash transfer is up into O&M, actually helps us have more room for the tax anticipation warrants and the amount of money that we can receive through those. So this is the first step before we can actually do the tax anticipation warrants. Any questions on that?
I just want to make sure we point out to anybody watching that the reason we have to do this work tonight is because Cook County is failing to do their job and get us the money that our taxpayers are paying.
Correct.
The assessor's office needs to start working with the Board of Review. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution as presented?
So moved, Kemilevich.
Second, Moon.
Gabby, may I have a roll call vote?
Dolan,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Kemilevich,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Gilio,
Aye.
Pritzker,
Aye.
Supos.
Motion carries. And the follow-up is the 25074 resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed 4,019,000 taxable tax anticipation warrants in anticipation of the collection of taxes levied for the year 2024 for bond and interest purposes, and authorizing the sale of said warrants to the purchaser thereof. Dr. Zelik, do you want to explain that a little bit? We've talked about tax warrants
Yes.
over the last couple of years, but never had to use them. But now it's come to a point where the county is so delayed.
Yes, the county is very delayed, and right now, the anticipation is, what I keep hearing is the end of December, but now I'm also hearing that could potentially go into January as well. So this issuance would actually carry us through January at this point in time. This is the maximum amount that we can actually borrow for tax anticipation warrants. So this is the recommendation we'd like to make to approve the tax anticipation warrants. We will be sharing a timeline on when the issuance will take place, probably sometime in November, when they will go ahead and sell them. We're looking at hopefully some other school districts having interest in loaning us the money. Unfortunately, Glenbrook does not allow us to borrow from them. Their policy does not allow it. We did check on that as well. Because if we could have kept that local, we would have really liked to have done that.
A complicating factor here, right, Mike, is that we have a bond and interest payment that's due December 1st.
Yes,
In the amount of $8 million and some dollars.
correct.
And so this, along with the action that you just took, helps us bridge what we assume will be a short-term basis. The idea here would to pay back immediately and in full the loan amount of this bridge immediately upon receiving the receipt of the tax payments, which is still in question. By now, we would have received, I believe, two payments?
Two, if not three.
Yeah, two if
Yeah.
not three. So that's how far behind they are.
And they would have been large sums, obviously.
We usually collect at least twice a year, and
Yes.
now we haven't collected anything this year. And I'm very disappointed in the county right now. I mean, we're actually a somewhat good school district. There are school districts that are really on the bind right now, and they're making us spend money we could be putting in the classroom. It's disappointing.
Yes.
Can I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution as presented?
So moved. Dolan.
Second, Gilio.
Gabby, may I have a roll call?
Moon,
Aye.
Kamalevich,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Gilio,
Aye.
Pritzker,
Aye.
Supos, Dolan.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we're in our discussion section. We have the 2025 tax levy information. Dr. Zelik again.
Are you, you know what, we're just going to put the presentation up there.
Becca, you're driving, correct?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay, great.
Yep. So this is going to look a little different than what you've seen in the past. Again, a very short period of time to put this together, but I think this information is probably a little bit more clear. I tried to keep it, short and simple as well. As we go through it, I'll kind of explain some of the changes that we've made as we go through the process. So the first thing you'll see is, I always start with a budgeting calendar. So it's a 25-26 budgeting planning calendar. It's a working copy. It's kind of gives the expected date, activity, and then who's responsible for it. I know it might be a little tough to see, but I tried to shrink it up as much as I can. But it's just a guide that we can go through as we go through this process. And the levy, obviously, is the number one. So again, I'm not going to go into the great details on this. We'll go into this more as we get into probably January with the budgeting process as we kind of continue the process. The other thing I've changed up here too is that just giving you a very brief and high-level levy adoption timeline. I know that normally it seems like you would have adopted the levy at this board meeting. With the time constraints and everything else, we kind of bumped it. And natural levy timeline is that intent to levy in November, establish the hearing, and then also in December having the board approve the levy itself. So that's kind of been the normal process with a lot of districts. So it was kind of strange for me to see that in October, really kind of nothing in November, but then bringing it to December. So this is, I pulled this from the state form for the budget, just kind of give you, again, an executive summary of what it's looking like as far as your beginning fund balances, and this is just operating up here, your revenues, your expenditures, and then surplus or deficit, and it is looking like a $1.7 million deficit in the operating funds only. So then carrying it down, these are your restricted funds, same thing, your beginning fund balances, revenues, expenditures. The difference you can see where with capital projects, that's a natural to happen as you're doing the projects, you're spending it down. So the biggest thing that we do worry about is right here, the debt service. So again, your working cash, which will transfer, and again, just a high level, one of the things that caught my eye as well is that 41% fund balance, it's starting to go downhill, and really 50% or more probably should be where you should be sitting at. So if this budget ends up to where it does, come in without a deficit, you most likely will be able to go up a little bit in a couple percents, but you want to be able to kind of get into that, mode to where we've got to stop spending down the fund balance. And I know that I looked at the presentation for the budget and the whole, fund balance reduction plan. You're not even close to where you have to even have a plan in place for, doing the reduction. So, and then CPI. Right now, that's about the only thing we know for a whole calculation for the levy. Normally, even in Cook County, we would have had the assessments. We would have known what new construction was, but even they are so far behind. I'm used to getting, like when I was up in Lake County, we were getting that information in August. So the levy recommendation is going to be, obviously, increase the levy to enable the district to maintain a balanced budget. Obviously, this current budget is not, but that's the goal that you want to get to. Existing property is going to go up by about 20%. That's what I'm hearing from, Liz Hennessy, from Raymond James, and then also PMA, our financial advisors as well. And then $50 million in new construction. So these are the pieces that we'll use, and when you take a look at the calculation sheets that you'll see. So the district is going to request, 5.48 to capture the new property, also have flexibility between the funds, be able to move what I always call pennies between them, and I'll show you that in a minute. We're anticipating receiving about 3.42% at the CPI, again, is 2.9. Debt service will increase a little bit by, 0.52. The county clerk actually does set that rate for us for the outstanding bonds, so that's really kind of an estimate. So the overall increase is about 4.9%. So this worksheet, I know this is a lot of information, but I just wanted to show you what kind of work goes into kind of building this out. So here's the current levy amount, meaning the current year for the monies that we haven't received for the second installment. Again, this is just another calculation, but as we carry across, the maximum allowable. So that's an important part there for us as far as what we can ask for. So when we kind of go through these, this information, this is just like the tax extension worksheet, and then it also shows our rate, and that's what our operating rate will be, and then our overall rate with the bonds. I'm going to go back here. The important piece on this actually spreadsheet is this part. This is from PMA, and I've used this for years. And what they do is that if you capture everything, for your tax cap, it will give you the 99 to 98%, and saying that you did capture all of the dollars that are available to us through the levy process. This one is actually the calculations and where we've got the recommendation from. So again, here's the prior year at the 60 million, the extension of the 63 million, and I added 1% to the ed fund just to bring it up to where we can get to the 5.48%. But here's the important thing is that you've got a fund balance in Social Security and IMRF that's almost $2 million. You can't use those dollars for anything else. So that's not showing here, but it would show on the budget worksheet that I started with. So I want to reduce that by 15% to actually deficit spend intentionally in IMRF and Social Security. But then I want to add back in $650,000 into working cash, which has not had a levy for quite some time. And we want to build that fund up so that if we run into the situation again to where, we have to borrow, we might be able to just do it internally if we can cover that, amount, if we have the fund balance as well. So I know I've got at the end questions, but I'm going to stop here to see if anybody has any questions on this.
So you're saying we have a surplus in our retirement funds, but we can't touch that right now. We couldn't even borrow it from ourselves,
Nope.
correct?
Correct.
So this is a way going forward for us to maybe anticipate not issuing tax anticipation warrants in the
Yes.
future.
It will take some time, but yes.
Yeah, I like going down this road personally. I hope everybody else is good with this. This is a good way for us to get better working cash.
And IMRF and Social Security should be almost a break even. You want some fund balance in there, obviously, in case we get a delay or whatever the case is, but the fund balance is just sitting there. So I think moving it to another spot, I think is pretty critical.
Can I ask one other quick question? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
On the prior sheet, what is an example of the county loss percentage? Like, I understand that we have it as 0 right now, but what are the factors that simulate some level of loss? Like, are we not capturing the full value of the assets, or what is that in there? What that adjustment factor for?
Yeah, it's actually already built in here into the model, and you could add more if you wanted to here. Mainly the loss and cost is actually for your bond and interest so that you can make your bond payments without any issue. I want to say the collection rate has been about 98.9 to 99% from what I've seen so far. So,
Well, we also have the true up every year too now that we can
Correct.
take, and we pass that every year.
yes.
So I like to think of it as 100% collection.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yeah.
question is the actual percent change of the EAV.
Yes.
I think around here it's closer to 32% in Northfield Township. So I would like to bump that up to 35% in the calculation and see where we come with that.
I actually did that, and, yeah, we can do it. It's not gonna, it's not gonna
If we're
change
already
much.
over 5% in the ask and we're holding a truth and taxation hearing, I don't mind, I just don't want to miss out on any EAV,
Sure.
if that makes sense.
It does. So basically, oops, wrong one, sorry.
Well, I know mine went up 40%.
Okay. So right here, what'll happen if I bump up the 20%, it'll change the rate
Lower, right?
lower, correct. So you're still going to get the same money, but I can do it so
Well,
that
I'd like to
kind
do
of,
that. I want everyone to know that we have the lowest tax rate in the township.
it is low. It is low. So I'll make that adjustment, and that's why I like to have this, be able to have this presentation now, have this conversation now, so that when we get into November, that we'd be able to go ahead and actually present what, really represents the district. So this was my first stab at it for I think 4 days or whatever the case is.
No, it was nice to look at. Thank you. We asked the community for a operating rate referenda, and it did not pass, and I want everyone to know that our situation is exactly the same.
Yep.
We have struggling assets right now that we aren't able to, our fund balance is just getting too low, as you pointed out.
Yes. So from those spreadsheets, it brings us to what you'll see as the certificate of tax levy, which is automatically populated. And so we'll have that for you for the intent to levy for November. I'll also have all of the paperwork and everything else that needs to go along with that as well, that the board would need to approve for the intent, and then establishing the hearing. And that's my presentation.
My only other question then is, have we received any signal to suggest that we are going to get any additional information, or the things that were typically delivered from the county before our next meeting? Is this going to change before November, or we feel like this is
Right
pretty?
now, my gut is saying no.
Okay.
I'm not hearing there's any reason to think that it's going to change.
Well, and if something does happen, just because the board approved the resolution for TAWS, that we don't have to borrow if we don't need it. So we have that opportunity to just, yes, yeah. Anything else?
I think that's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
jumping
you.
right in.
Yeah.
Well, after 2 months of, getting into a retired routine, this actually helped me. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next, we have a Fall 2025 Institute Day reflection. Dr. Silverman.
Yes, thank you.
And company.
And company, for sure. The teaching and learning team, I am trying to find there it is. This fires up. Sorry for the delay. There we go. All right. So we wanted to share with you our full day institute work from September 26th. It was a Friday. I'm super excited because our very first starting point is the alignment with the strategic plan, and we lived this, and when we were this, the staff was awesome. Any session we went into, the commitment to their growth, the opportunity to think of educating and teaching and learning with our children in different ways was so clearly evident. There was a lot of passion exhibited. It was a great day. And so we felt this opportunity to share with you all and the public, because it is a full day and students are not here. And some of this learning just needs extended periods of time for teachers to collaborate and have time with either a specific content area or theme or even a professional development provider. And really, in terms of the strategic plan, the first one in terms of academic achievement, and we're going to hone in a little bit on that this evening. Engagement, also you're going to see that in the adult learning and how that would then sort of play out within our educational model. And then the last part is indeed about professional learning to support innovation and culture-responsive practices and instruction. So when you look at the what we did, these were the key topics and themes and support areas. The number 30 comes from AM and PM sessions. We had multiple opportunities for teachers to have pretty much half-day experiences along with our associates and other support staff. So that's where the number comes in. And so it was a full day, a lot of action, and incredible engagement from our staff.
So yeah, and you saw before all the list of items that we have. We're going to highlight just a few of those, right now. And just to reiterate the importance of that day, it is a full day that students aren't here. And so if you've, in the business world, in the public sector here in education, professional development is often met with, skepticism at times. So like, what's it going to value? What are we going to get out of it? What's it going to bring to me as a teacher? How am I going to take that information back? I have to say our reflections meeting with teachers, Matt and I are going to be super excited about what's developed and the people that develop the professional development. It has been the reflections with those that participated that has really brought to light what took place. So one of the areas that we did is all staff members had an experience with AI. And we all have been familiar with AI to some level as a society, good and bad. Some of us have used it a lot, and some people have been more resistant or not understanding it. So really what it was designed to do was to create a foundation for what people understood about AI, knowing that we have a full spectrum of individuals using or not using, or even knowing what it is, to really help teachers get a foundation for what is the resource, what does it do, how is it valuable, how is it maybe a little intimidating. What we like to compare it to is if you were teaching or working in the mid-90s when the internet came out, it's the same fear in society for a new piece. That was when the internet came and people were like, this is going to ruin everything. And it has created a lot of advantages. It's also created a lot of challenges. And back then it was plagiarism and people using their device more. We're dealing with the same things now. And how do we help teachers understand? And so the AI was really focused on a product that we use and how they can use that product to make their life easier, to help simplify some of the tasks that they do. For the eventual conversation to be in the future, how do we help support students in a world where they have access to AI? Because we know, especially at the high school, or if you have a college-age student, or if you have somebody who's working in the profession, people are using it, some very appropriately, and some maybe not as in alignment with maybe the way it should be used. And how do we help kids understand, or even our staff understand, how kids are going to benefit from it, and what are the challenges that we face with that? So we provided, it was a 2-hour training, again, just foundation opportunity that went on in every school, went very well.
Thank you.
I went a lot longer than I thought I was, sorry.
We love this stuff, sorry. We're always, keep it brief, but you know what?
That was brief for
This
me.
is awesome. So the big sort of roundabout explanation here, the next category is IXL, and we use IXL. It's a digital resource in kindergarten through 8th grade. In particular, we honed in our kindergarten through 5th grade teachers, and we really wanted to set a foundational training. We've been using the resource for years, and we've never had a formalized training, almost similar to AI, to ensure everybody has that consistency. So what you're looking at, it's kind of strange piece, but children typically over the years have been using the IXL resource as an opportunity for additional practice, to reinforce different types of skills they learn in the classroom from their teachers and associates and other people. And so that green bar is our typical usage. That's practice usage. And it's hundreds of thousands of questions children interact with. and it monitors. It's a very elaborate system. So the other colors, which we're going to monitor over the year, are more teacher-driven or teacher-directed engagement type activities that we actually learn from in the professional development. So putting a child, using IXL with our children in terms of practice, that's an awesome opportunity, and we utilize that extremely well and we have for years. Those other opportunities like group jams, that was something that we learned about, and that's something that would be done in the classroom with our students in more of a structured learning experience. So over the course of this year, we're going to monitor to actually hone in on those objectives from the strategic plan to look at the achievement impact. And so that's sometimes difficult to do with professional learning, is to try to loop it back to actual achievement. And so that's a factor that we're going to monitor with IXL. In 6-8 specifically, when they weren't in their AI session, there was a lot of interdisciplinary work with reading and writing, and that has been a theme for 6-8 for 2 years now. And it has yielded some just outstanding connections between social studies, literature, science, ELA. There's the collaboration amongst the staff has been outstanding. And so this was some carryover and then some more development and collaboration in terms of, in the simplistic sense, of writing about content. And that was the theme that they experienced in terms of professional development. The other 3 categories, so the PE standards, we really try to provide content-based experiences for teachers that are outside of maybe a homeroom or social studies or science or math. And so in terms of physical education and our physical education teachers, we brought in an outside professional development provider. They just did sort of an update and a refresh on standards and then practice them in terms of engagement in physical education activities, lessons, differentiation. So it was a full day, and you can see they use the National Health Education Standards, which Illinois is built on those. Similarly, for our fine arts staff, Power of Story PD was delivered by an outside professional development provider in terms of the expertise in fine arts and storytelling. And it was just a very creative experience for our fine arts staff and was really connected to their discipline even within the fine arts, so for music, drama, art, those different opportunities. The last piece there, as you know, we have a phonics pilot occurring. Those are the 2 programs, Bridge to Reading and Really Good Reading, and we just did some additional check-in PD and opportunities to further explore and develop the phonics pilot itself as we're actually delivering it right now in real time.
And so in addition, I would say overwhelmingly, everyone went to the AI session. All of what Matt and Brian talked about were well received across the board. But we also had the pleasure of offering additional student services, specialized strands that I want to highlight a few, one of which is Dr. John Frampton. He is a co-founder and clinical psychologist at a neighboring clinic called Formative Psychological Services. You may have heard of it. He is a fan favorite. He does come and train our psychs, school psychologists and social works quite a bit, and he did a session on, there's a theme here on technology and really talking to them about a tiered approach to school-based supports in supporting healthy technology use. And so what Brian had mentioned, the benefits and the challenges, and how as a clinical team can we support that in a tiered model. And so that was very well received for those that attended. We also had a session for our student services associates through Infinitec. You might remember that name. Every spring we have the AAC award winners come to board meetings to show exemplary use of their AAC devices, and they came and talked to our associates about the link between behavior and communication. We all know behavior is communication, and how we respond to behavior will either escalate or de-escalate behavior. And so our associates were able to kind of learn some fundamentals about how the intersection between behavior and communication occurs in the school. We also had an outside provider, Illinois SLD Support Project, SLD Specific Learning Disability. That's a federally funded grant program through ISB. They came and talked to our student services team about assessment and turning assessment into intervention. We know that we are data rich, but what we do with the data makes the difference for students, and how we use that data and our assessment tools to inform instruction and produce positive outcomes for kids. So those were all very well received. I know Dr. Silverman's going to go over some feedback, but all of these sessions I highlighted because participants said, when are they coming back? So we're already kind of talking about what could be the next step.
So we collect thousands of pieces of data relative to every single session that we provide. Teachers complete through Frontline a standardized feedback form. And it's actually a requirement for them to receive the continuing education credit units. They need to do the evaluation. So it's a decent process, and we receive a lot of information. It's qualitative and quantitative. The narrative information is something that the teaching and learning team will take actually a lot of time, because it's comments, and we codify them, distill them. For tonight, I just couldn't hone in a cohesive manner, but I'm happy to share if you want to see or review that information. But it's specific feedback that a teacher has open narrative format to provide us with, and it's as useful as anything where we can rate. So for tonight and for the purpose, we thought it was most powerful to really come back to the notion that the professional growth or student growth will be impacted. That's why we're doing the professional development. And then is equally as important, and something that we've been talking about for years, is social and emotional growth. So this really made me feel connected to the day and to the feedback, where all sessions had an 85% agreement and strongly agreement rating in those two categories in terms of a positive feedback element. The area for growth, and this is fairly consistent, is choice. Sometimes we make a decision where, again, we want to set a foundation, like in AI or the IXL example, and we all need to do experience to ensure that there's consistency, reliability, validity in the professional development and the purpose of it. Choice, we will always be thinking about that. Sometimes within the sessions we try to provide choice, but it's just not always possible when we're thinking about the purpose and the outcomes of the PD or the program, or it is something like that. But we understand staff appreciate choice, they want choice, and we try, and sometimes we aren't able to fulfill that interest by them. So that was a less than 85% agree factor. And with that, any questions? And we appreciate your time. We appreciate this day. It's absolutely invaluable and so meaningful to our staff.
Any questions? You guys work on this in EdCo too. They have a preview of what they're going to be able to work with, correct?
Yeah, so tomorrow, if you want to see this again.
Some of us will.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we have the press issue 119.
Yeah, I'll just say quickly, this is our first iteration of this. You will see in here that the changes that are being suggested, well, some of these are just recommended for review. Others have changes that I put in the very minor category. You'll have another opportunity to review these before we adopt them at our next meeting.
Okay. Any questions on the press issue? Next, we have the IASB Delegate Assembly annual item for discussion. And Dane, it's got you in here, but I just want to mention that Vasilios, you're going to be our rep like you have in the past. I sent an email to everybody with the resolutions, and it looks like they're really just trying to change their constitution this year. It's actually only one resolution that I saw about busing. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
So I'm in support of it. I hope everybody else, it seems to be more streamlined for our organization. We trust you, Vasilios. Thank you. Any other questions about the delegate assembly? And now we have the True North update. Dr. Deli?
Well, we do have, there are some updates that are probably too many to enumerate, but I think the biggest one is that there are new articles of agreement that are being entertained by the cooperative, and they're going to be voted on soon. So I don't know if, as the board rep, if you had certain things that you wanted to highlight, but it has been a work in progress, although it has come together quickly.
Yeah, I would like to just add that we, as a board, are going to, state our intentions as to withdrawal or staying next month. They are going to be voting on a new articles of agreement. They're pretty drastically different than the organization's been run. I appreciate all the hard work that's gone into it. The general consensus is to move towards a reorganization versus a dissolution. But that actually is something they're going to be voting on next month also. So this next 6 weeks is when everyone gets to talk to the rest of their boards and see which way they want to go on this. We've been very consistent throughout the whole process on where we stand and what we want to do, and I believe nothing has changed since they've changed this. Do you agree?
Right, and with our official approval now from ISB, June 30th is our last day associated with the cooperative.
All right. Any other questions on the cooperative?
Just to confirm, there's nothing negative in these newly drafted articles that would put our withdrawal in either conflict or at risk with the reorganization approach that they've proposed.
Actually, I believe the new articles have some added language that our attorney helped us get in there that actually protects us as a school district as we go through this withdrawal process. And I was pleased that they were willing to listen to us as we possibly just walk out the door. They also consider us a catalyst to everything that's happening. All right. Next is our audience comments. This is a second opportunity for audience comments. Anyone wishing to address the board can submit a comment card available at the check-in table and give it to the Executive Director of Communications and Strategic Planning. The Executive Director will call community members who submit cards forward. They will be asked to introduce themselves and describe their relationship to the district. Please keep your comments at 3 minutes or less. And please note the board will be taking notes, but we will be in listening mode only, and an appropriate response will be given in a timely manner. We also ask that you submit one comment per opportunity. Rebecca, do we have any comments?
Mr. Tarkowski would like to take
Thank
advantage
you.
of the second comment.
Oh, yeah, we want everyone else to be able to hear you too.
Thank you, thank you. And again, I'm Michael Tarkowski, and I'm a parent of a District 34 student at Springman. He's in 6th grade. And having volunteered for the recent book fair, I don't know whose decision it is, but I think it's highly recommended that next year, before District 34 works with Scholastic, that they kind of go through the book quality that is being offered to our students. This is a book that my son picked up that was between 6th and 8th graders could pick this up. And I would consider this probably be a 2nd or 3rd grade book. This book I've had over probably 40 years. This is something I picked up from 6th grade, my book fair, and I still have it today. It's The Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald. So I just would recommend that whoever's decision it is to work with Scholastic to before you renew a contract with them or another vendor to try to figure out what the quality books that are being given to our students at the book fairs. I do think that our students should aspire to more than comic books and 2nd grade reading when they're in 6th grade. And this was not even in a pile for second English language learners, that I could understand that perhaps if your native language is not English, that maybe you need a lower vocabulary book. But I think that 6th and 8th graders should have an opportunity, if they're not able to go to, because I've walked also through the LRC at Springman, and I see a lot of manga and a lot of books that I would consider far less aspiring for 6th to 8th graders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tarkowski. Next, we have our report section. We have the number 1 FOIA report. Any questions for Rebecca? And we have the number 2 monthly budget report. Any questions on the budget report? Any other business? If not, we are adjourned.